Hi, everybody, and welcome to Something Suddenly Came Up, a retro review. I'm Leann, and this is my big sis, the Groovy Granny. And as always, we're going to bring you all things 60s, 70s, 80s, just fun pop culture stuff, nothing serious here, no politics. So let's start today by addressing what the title of this little thingamabob that we do around here, this channel is all about, in case you don't already know. So we're both big Brady Bunch fans, and season 4, episode 18, entitled The Subject Was Noses, and we'll elaborate. Marcia says something suddenly came up to get out of a date with Charlie. So we'll elaborate, but any of you real 70s TV fans probably already knew, but that's where we got it from. So she breaks a date by saying something suddenly came up so she can date the big man on campus, right, Di?
That's right. And of course, we are going to address our 5 favorite Brady Bunch episodes. And I think this was really hard.
Oh
I
gosh,
didn't
it was
think it
so
would
hard.
be at first. I didn't think it was going to be that hard, but it is.
I couldn't even concentrate on which episode was which because I have so many Brady images in my mind, so many Brady catchphrases. And
Hugely quotable show for sure.
yes. And also, as with some of the other shows we talk about, I didn't realize what a big shift there was from season to season.
Yeah.
Season number 1 was a little more serious and a little melancholy in the episodes. And then we get to that last season and it's all just fun and games, you know?
Chaos. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more campy. Not that the whole thing wasn't a bit campy at times, but season 5 was definitely more campy in my opinion.
100%. But in a way, this was really quite a breakout concept. I know when people think of the Brady Bunch, they think a little bit of like saccharine sweet. But really, when you think about it, that concept of the blended family was really pretty new at that point.
And this started in 1968, so for sure, definitely new. And
Right.
as someone who came from divorced parentage, um, not not Leann's dad, that's my stepdad, but my original father and mother were divorced. And so it hit, it hit extra close to home. Now, I didn't get a great big blended family, but I got 2 great siblings out of it.
That's right. And much like the Brady's, we became a real family. I mean, it wasn't like we felt separate at all, right? Not at all.
As or Mrs. Brady said, there were no steps
That's
in
right.
our family,
That's right.
except
And
the ones that went upstairs.
that's right. And I've never once said my half sister. I mean, have you ever
No, me either.
referred to either one of us that way? No, right?
And I
Never.
call our dad my dad.
Exactly, exactly. And I know he very much thought that way too. And the kids were all granddad and yeah. So
Yes,
I mean this
definitely.
show really does resonate with us. And
Mhm.
I think in a time when family images were like father knows best and stuff, this is
Yeah,
really a breakout concept in many ways.
that was the 60s for you.
Yeah, yeah. And that first season, they really did touch on those moments where the kids were choosing. I remember there was an episode where I believe was it Cindy? You'll correct me. They could only invite the mother or the father, and she didn't want
Yes,
to hurt her new daddy's feelings,
right.
by inviting the mom. So it was a real conundrum. So they really did
And
it
one where
justice.
Mr. Brady had to punish Marcia because she
Oh,
snuck out to mail a letter, not knowing that she was nominating him for Father of the Year, and he ended
right,
up winning.
right, right. That's so true. Oh my gosh. So, because as we know, you and I could talk about this for about 5 days straight.
Yeah.
Shall we start with this is like you said, this is going to be our 5 top Brady episodes, which man, tall order. So why don't you go with your number 5?
Okay, let me get my paper in front of me so I remember. So
Yeah.
my number 5, of course, is Getting Davy Jones. It had to be there.
I
I
can't
mean, we
even.
love that one.
Oh.
Davy Jones, of course, was a member of the Monkees, a singing group at the time, and he was kind of the little heartthrob of the group. He was actually
Oh,
a very short fella, but in the episode, Marcia has got to get an entertainment um, person for, I think it was like her middle school prom or something.
I actually went back and looked this one up. It says it was her junior prom, but she looks so young in this episode.
I think
Yeah.
it's her junior high school
Yes.
prom because
Yes.
remember, middle school was called junior high back
Right.
when I went to school. I
Same with
guess you
me.
too, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it was her junior high. And, I guess the advantages of living in California, she was going to try to get Davy Jones. She was the president of his fan club, right?
That's what I think was the confusion. He was sending, when you're in the fan club, they send you letters that feel really specific and
Yes,
private, like Davy wants you to know,
yes,
whatever. And she really thought she could easily get him
right.
for the prom, for the junior
Yeah.
prom, whatever it is, the dance. I'm with you. I have such a soft spot for Davy Jones. He's so charismatic and adorable and so talented. All the monkeys were really quite talented.
Yeah, the way more than they kind of got credit for it. Now I do see them as the monkeys periodically getting put on top top performer type people's lists, and I'm happy for that because you're right. They took four talented people and put them together sort of commercially, not they didn't find each other in their youth and begin playing together. They were put together by a corporation. And they
That's a
did really
total
well with that.
They did. And that's a total deep dive for another day. But I
Yes,
just want to point out that the Monkees, the show, made a very big kind of resurgence in popularity in the 80s when I was a kid, even though it was a 60s show. I
I didn't know
want to say it was maybe TV Land, or maybe it was TV Land even around at that point. What was the other one, Di, that always had the retro things on? I think it was
Nick at
TV.
Night.
Might have, yes, yes, I believe so. So someone out there can correct us. But they started re-showing the Monkees, and I actually saw them perform in concert without Mike, though. Actually, I gotta say,
Oh.
Mike's my favorite. This hat, no, I'm just kidding. Responsible. He was always like the responsible one, and that resonated with me. Anyway, I actually saw them perform at Wolf Trap in the
Oh,
80s.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, again, this is a separate deep dive, but that song that Davy Jones sings in this episode, I just love everything about this episode. I really do. I
The song
really
is
do.
Girl, right?
Yes, yes. I'm not going to do it, but I have sung in
I
their
know.
house
We don't
before.
want to lose viewers by my
Yeah,
singing
and
again. I went there very scarily.
I,
Um,
I
yeah, I think that this episode is one that kind of starts a string of favorites of Marcia episodes.
yeah.
I think I could really relate to Marcia. I was around that same age at the time, and
You
I,
definitely
my,
had the
my list is a
hairstyle.
little bit Marcia heavy.
Yeah, well, I gotta say this. I have to jump ahead because this was my number two
I
because
thought
I
it
love.
might be your number one. I was worried I blew that for you.
No, it's okay. It's my number two, and I really shuffled it around my list a few times because I do love it so much. I do.
Yeah.
And when they made the Brady movie, which is so campy, but when Davy Jones comes back in the movie, and all the teachers are up front like Davy, I felt the same way. I was like,
it, it was
yes,
it was very very true to life how
yes,
that
for
would that
sure,
that would be happening for
for
sure.
sure.
So what's your
Um,
number five?
My number five is one that might be a kind of outlier, but it's in season three, and it's called the Teeter Totter Caper.
Yeah, I know
And
that one.
yeah, and I always was fascinated. Remember, especially when we were kids, everybody was really into the Guinness Book of Records
Yeah,
and setting
breaking
world
something.
record. Yes.
Mhm.
And so Bobby and Cindy stay on the teeter totter, trying to break a world record. And that image of them being tired and they're so sleepy. And Miss Brady comes out and Mr. Brady, and they put their little windbreakers on them because it gets
Yeah.
late into the night. And just that image of them sleepy and getting their windbreakers put on, and just the image of them, they're the younger ones, and the older ones are winning awards at school and getting accolades, and they're like,
Yeah.
we're going to be important too. And I think being a kid sister, I got that part. But also, like I said, it was just very much a part of our culture, especially at the time, breaking a Guinness World Record.
Yeah. I remember there was like some guy who walked on his hands. Like that was he was trying to break a world record. He walked on his hands. It was a ridiculous amount of time. I
Right. Right. I mean, you still hear about world records being broken, but I think in that point in time, it was really popular to hear about.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one for me, just that image of them on the teeter-totter
Yes.
in the night. And Mrs. Brady being like, Mike, should we stop them? And he's like, no, they're fine. You
And
know?
didn't someone have to come and replace them when they had to go to the bathroom?
I believe so. I think that's how they did it. Like I said, a lot of my
Probably poor Alice too.
yeah, probably. Probably was. But I just love that imagery. And it's so innocent and sweet,
It
just
is.
that was the, topic. But I think the underlying vibe was just they wanted to be in the limelight too, because they're used to having older siblings that kind of,
Yes.
outshine a little
Yes.
bit. But what a sweet show. And that's one of my favorites. So
That's a good choice.
yeah, it's a cute one, isn't it? Okay, number four, Brady style.
So my number four, what?
No, I just said number
Oh,
four, Brady style.
yeah. So my number four is Greg's Triangle.
Oh.
It's the one where he has to judge the cheerleading competition. He's the chairman or something, and there are two other judges, or yeah,
Mhm.
two other judges. And Marcia is in the contest to be the head cheerleader. The funny things they did on Brady Bunch, like
Oh my gosh.
she was trying out for head cheerleader, but she wasn't already a cheerleader. It's just, I was like, wait a minute.
Well,
No,
don't get
no,
technical. Don't get technical on us.
doesn't work that way. But anyway, and then just coincidentally, one of the saucy little girls at school decides to bump into Greg and start wanting to date him. And then it turns out she's trying it out for that too. Isn't
No,
that a coincidence?
it isn't just Greg's charms.
And when she meets Mr. and Mrs. Brady, I think it's Mr. Brady that says, I have a feeling that when Jennifer wants, Jennifer gets. Like she was
Oh,
that kind of
wow.
girl. And
Mm-hmm.
it does turn out that Greg has to break the tie because he's the chairman or whatever. And he ends up voting for Tom Hanks's wife.
I
Rita
was going to
Wilson
say
plays,
Rita Wilson is on that. Yeah.
I
Yes.
forget, no, was it Jennifer? No, Jennifer was the girlfriend. I can't think of what her name was. Pat
Pat,
Conroy
yes.
or Conway.
Yes, yes. He picks a person, yeah, that
Yeah.
isn't Marsha
He
or the
believed
other
she
lady.
was the best, and she
Yeah.
was by far the best.
Yes. I remember some very shady cheerleading moves on that.
Yes, like ugh,
It's
cringeable
like, can they
cheerleading
hear
moves.
the beat of the music or not?
Oh,
Oh gosh, that is such a good one.
I
Yeah,
know.
I love the ones with Greg and Marcia when they're a little older and they do have to, they are navigating high school. And then Marcia ends up at Greg's high school, right? He's a little bit older, right? Or a year
Yeah.
older. And yeah, she follows in his footsteps and he has to kind of navigate that new territory where she's at the high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she first starts at the high school, she's
Mhm.
real nervous because she doesn't know anybody because I don't know, the zoning or something put her at a high school where most of her friends weren't.
Yes.
And so she
Yeah.
was trying to be something she wasn't, and Greg was
Exactly.
all embarrassed by her.
Exactly. Um, okay, so my number four is one that is really close to my heart. This one stands out for me in Brady Trivia World. It's the episode where Jan finds that picture of their Aunt Jenny. And
Oh,
Aunt Jenny and Jan look the same. So she's like, oh, I can't wait to meet Aunt Jenny because that's who I'm going to grow up to look like. And Aunt Jenny is played by Imogene Coca, the
yes.
comedian from, I believe she was on, it was called Our Show of Shows. And Imogene Coca, bless her heart, maybe not the most classically beautiful woman in the
Right.
world. And so then Jan gets scared she's going to grow up to look like Imogene Coca. who plays this kind of quirky lady with her own vibe, and she brings them gifts from all over the world. And as always, as Imogene Coca's want to do, she kind of goes over the top. And I just think it's such a fun episode. I really
It is
love
a fun episode. For any of our people who are a little bit younger, Imogene Coca was Aunt Edna in the movie
it.
Vacation with Chevy
Yes.
Chase.
Yes, that's right. So
A
you can
little older
pick.
in that movie,
That's
but yeah,
right. So she has a very distinctive look, especially in the 70s, right? When the pillars of beauty were like Farrah Fawcett or somebody like
right,
that.
right,
To think that you're going to grow up to look like Imogene Coca, apparently for Jan was a little worrisome.
right, right.
And bless Imogene Coca's heart, she played it to the hilt.
She did, and she
Yeah,
kind of realized why Jan was kind of ignoring her. Jan didn't want
right.
to really talk to her or have
Yeah,
anything to do with her,
yeah,
and she
yeah.
kind of started to realize it. But has a very sweet ending where Jan comes to the realization that
Yeah, that this
she's
is a
really pretty
really,
cool.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She's such a cool, interesting lady, and that trumps looks all day long, you know?
Yes, yeah.
And she's just a very well-traveled, fun-loving, interesting woman, and a little bit ahead of her time for that time period, right? Because she was a single woman out traveling, doing her thing, which you didn't
Kind
see
of
a
like
lot
an
of.
entrepreneur or something too,
Yes,
right? Like
yes,
she she
exactly.
had money in some way or another.
Yes, yes. So there were a lot of lessons abounding there, but that's always one that sticks out for me. Um,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah,
Very good one.
yeah.
Well, speaking of Jan, my
Okay.
number three is, will the real Jan Brady
Oh
please
gosh.
stand up?
Yes, yes, yes.
So poor Jan is constantly being mistaken for Marcia or compared to Marcia or whatever. And she decides she's invited to, oh man, I'm forgetting the girl's name. She is a child actor that was in a ton
Oh,
of
oh,
70s movies.
is she Pamela?
Pamela something, yes.
It's like Ferguson or Ferguson.
Yeah,
It's an F word.
yes, yes, it is.
Yes.
I think she's the voice of Lucy in Peanuts.
She sure is. She sure is. If anybody in our age bracket especially sees her, you'll be like, she was in everything. She
Everything.
showed up in everything. She's a
Yes.
great actress. She's a cute little child star. She really is. She looks a
And
bit like Marsha, right?
she has a very distinct voice
Oh, she
too. So
does,
I
for
think she
sure.
did a lot of animated stuff,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
voices for it, but she's definitely Lucy from the Peanuts
She sure is.
shows.
She
But
sure.
anyway, she's having a party and Jan doesn't want to look like Marcia and Cindy. So she goes and buys a short black wig. And to stay on trend with pointing out guest stars, the
Yeah,
lady who sells her the wig is the secretary from the Bob Newhart show, Carol.
that's right.
I can't
That's
think of her
right.
name in real life. Can you?
Marsha, oh
Wallace?
gosh.
Marsha
Marsha
Wallace?
Wallace, yes.
Okay.
That's right.
So
That's
she
right.
sells Jan the wig, and unfortunately, Jan shows up at the party in the wig, and all the kids laugh. But they tell her they thought it must be a joke because her real hair is so pretty.
Exactly.
And Jan kind of calmed down about it and realized that she should have just been herself.
Right. Jan
But poor
learns that
Peter is
lesson.
kind of in a situation in that episode too.
Yes. 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 Because he goes to the party with her, doesn't he? Because it's his
He
class.
does. And
Yeah.
there's a girl who has a big crush on him at the party that he doesn't want to have to deal with. But
Yes.
they make him go to take Jan.
And this comes back to that whole blended family too. And like there's issues where like family loyalty, like with Greg and the cheerleading and Peter standing by Jan while she's looking absolutely ridiculous, but he realizes she's going through something. And I think it's funny because a nod to the campy Brady movie later. Remember when Jan puts on the wig and she's got like the blonde hair just hanging out of the wig like that? But it is such again, a heartwarming kind of coming of age vibe to this show too, finding
And
your way.
Jan is definitely the one that portrays the sort of middle child syndrome,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, for
that
sure.
she's always looking to be different in some way or another.
That's so true. That is so true.
So
Um,
what's your number three?
My number three, again, I feel like it's a little bit out there, but this is one in season three where the Bradys do a laundry soap commercial.
Oh,
Again, there's an image that stands out for me. They take the green station wagon to, I believe, the grocery store. And all of
yeah.
a sudden, this very hippie looking guy is like this. He's like looking at them like this. And what he's doing, he's like, this family is far out, man. I want to have them on my soap, my laundry soap commercial. But this is him like sizing them up how they'll look on screen, right? But don't you remember that image of him doing that, Mrs. Brady being
Absolutely,
like,
yes.
get in
And
the
Mrs.
car.
Brady being like, what in the world?
Yes, yes. And they have to kind of play a role because they're very concerned. They don't use safe brand
Oh,
laundry
that's
detergent.
right.
And
Yes,
because the Bradys always do the right thing, and they all right, that was a little bit of a
right. They
problem
wanted
for
to
them.
be legit about it.
Yeah, yeah. But that image, and the guy is the classic like hippie. He's a headband and the like bell bottoms and everything's like man and right and of course hilarity ensues because they film it at the house, the
Yes.
whole nine. But as far as Brady images go in my mind, it's that guy like this looking at Mrs. Brady.
Well, what's interesting is not only him, but the girl that is a friend of a friend that comes and tries to help them do
Yeah.
like method acting.
Oh gosh,
Mira
yes.
something?
Yes. Moira? It's
Mora or Mira? Something.
yes, you're
Yeah.
right. She's like, you're right. And she's telling them how to get into character.
Yeah.
And she's a little bit off the beaten path
So
herself.
like him as the director and her as, the
Yes.
actress, so to speak,
Yes.
was a
Oh,
very funny play on Hollywood at the time.
Guy, is this the episode where Alice comes out in a dress and she has a little tendril of a curl in
Ringlets.
her hair?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Trying to look like a natural family, how they
Yes.
always look
Yes.
around the house. But yes, oh my gosh, so that imagery, like I said, a lot of my recollection of Brady episodes, even though I go back and watch them for comfort sometimes, because we always talk on this show about comfort watching,
Yes.
um, is that there's just these very specific little images in my mind of watching it after school, growing up, or whatever, and that's one that stands out big time.
Yeah, that one's a good one. I'm glad you're picking some really different ones. I love that. So my number two is My Sister Benedict Arnold.
Oh
So
yeah,
again, it's Greg and Marcia. I'm sorry. I just
don't
lean
be
towards
sorry.
their episodes as my favorite. And it's
Mhm.
the one where Marcia's still in junior high, but Greg is in high school. And Greg is very upset because Warren Mullaney takes his place on the basketball team. And just so happens that Warren Mullaney asks Marcia for a date, and the controversy, she's talking with her mom like, it's a high school boy, am I allowed to go out with him, her not knowing that this happened to Greg at the time. And her mother's like, well, we have to meet him first, but you can. And so she goes out with him, and she's not all that super interested in him. But Greg finds out and he just yells at her and says, he's my biggest enemy. You better not see him again. And she, of course, rebels against that and decides to go out with him again. And he brings some girl who I believe is Sherwood Schwartz's daughter,
Okay.
who's in several
Yeah.
episodes playing different
Who's
characters.
the creator of the Brady Bunch, if you're new to
Yes,
this.
yes. And she beat Marcia out for cheerleading or something. And,
Yep.
and they're both at the house with the two opposing people and they get in a big fight. And then the two of the people they were dating leave with each other because they're like, look, we're sick of this. We're leaving. So it's just kind of one of those funny episodes again where they're kind of battling each other
Well, the
because of
battle is
jealousy,
there.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, the battle's there and that loyalty, that doing the right
Yeah.
thing and that family loyalty. And that really is a concept that keeps coming up. I notice as we're going through these episodes is just that, doing the right thing and and being loyal to your family. I find that
And
interesting.
you know
Yeah.
what's so funny is Mr. Brady's words of wisdom
Oh
that he
yeah.
gives in almost every episode. He like goes to Marcia, was Warren Mulvaney really the best thing you've ever been out with?
Yeah.
Or was he just a thorn to stick in Greg's side? Like
Yeah, yes,
always,
yes.
had words of wisdom. Sometimes Carol would look at him like, okay.
Well, what was that thing you said to Cindy? When you tattle on someone else, you're really tattling on yourself and showing that you're a tattletale or whatever. There's like,
That was what he got a side look with for sure. He's
yes,
like,
yes. There's always a word of wisdom, which I think in some ways that is that nod back to that previous generation of family shows where you have Ward Cleaver bringing us home
yes.
with a message, and you have Father Knows Best, and bringing there's always that fatherly wisdom. So I think that's
Sort of
that
like
bit
the
of a nod
moral
to
of the
that.
story
Mhm.
kind of thing always
Yes,
coming through
yes.
in those type series. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I love those. Oh my gosh.
I do
Well,
too.
my episode 2, you guys already know it's Davy. It's Davy
Oh,
Jones.
that's right.
Oh my gosh. When he sings the song, oh my gosh, I can't. I don't want to sing it, but you guys all know. If you don't know what it is, look up Davy Jones on the Brady Bunch singing Girl.
Yes.
It's a great song, and he sings it so sincerely. And if you've never seen him before, because I don't know, been under a rock somewhere, or or you're just very young, he's
I
adorable. He's
I
totally
think
adorable.
it's cute to say how sweet he is. She
Yes.
comes to the recording studio and he's hearing his playback of the girl song
Right,
because he's
right.
recording it. And he hears her tell his manager
Yeah,
what's happened. And he shows up at the house and says, how about a date?
yeah,
To your
yes,
prom. And
yes,
then, of course, all the brothers and sisters are at the top of the stairs
as
spying on them
always.
talking.
Is it Davy where she kisses him on the cheek and he says, "How about the flip
How
side?"
about the
He
flip
kisses, yeah,
side?
how about the flip side? I gotta say though, now the Davy episode always trumps anything else, but
Yeah.
the Davy episode did harken to mine way back to I think it was season 1 or 2 where Desi Arnaz Jr. was on
Yes.
because Marcia has a crush on Desi Arnaz Jr. And again, for people watching, he obviously is Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's son. And he was gaining popularity on the Lucy show, right? Was it
Yes.
Lucy show or Here's Lucy? Which is the
Here's
one?
Lucy.
Here's
Here's
Lucy that
Lucy.
had both he and his sister on.
Yes.
But there's an episode where Marcia's dreaming of being, I want to be Mrs. Desi Arnaz Jr.
Yes.
So
Well, she
that was
writes it
like,
in her diary, and
mhm.
then her diary, they think,
Yeah.
accidentally gets given away in a book exchange or whatever.
Right. And that becomes, they go looking through all the bookstores, the used bookstores for the diary. But
Yeah.
so I'll always pick Davy, but it did harken to mind that episode where I want to be Mrs. Desi Arnaz.
Yes. Yes.
And again, he was so sweet to her as well. That was a very cute episode as well.
I have a
But
feeling our number ones might be the same. But,
okay,
but
lay it
before
on
I
me.
give my number one, may I give a few
Of course.
honorable mentions?
I think we should because there's so many.
So I'll just say two of them, even
Okay.
though I have four written here.
Say 4, girl. Say more, not less.
So I loved the not so rose colored glasses. It's the one
Yes.
where Jan has to get glasses, and
Hmm.
it's the mom and dad's anniversary, and they get a portrait taken of them. And poor Jan doesn't wear her glasses because she's meeting Bernie McGuire at the park. And
Yeah,
she doesn't,
listen.
like back then, it was like a tragedy to have to wear
It's a
glasses.
different era, right? Braces
Yes,
and glasses were like,
yes.
oh no. And now it's just commonplace.
I can remember both things when both my daughters were growing up. Both things were kind of cool to have at
Yes,
that
yes,
point. It's
yes.
kind of a funny thing. But yeah, so she doesn't wear her glasses and she runs into the portrait and they have to get it retaken. And she has to sell her bicycle to be able to pay for the portrait and everything. So I just really like that episode because I think it's so interesting that she was so devastated about wearing glasses.
And that bike, you better know it had a banana seat and the
It
high
did.
bars with the streamers on the handles,
It
such a
did.
classic 70s. And spoiler alert, you guys, but why is the picture different? from the one she destroyed.
Oh, it's because she's wearing her glasses in the second one. She
Exactly,
forgets.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
And
I
Mr.
love
Brady
that one.
knows it right away.
I love
And
that.
he's going to punish her and say she can't ride her bike. And she said that she had sold it. And he
Mhm.
feels bad and he pats her back and says, we'll try and figure out a way to buy the bike back.
Yeah,
Like he felt
yeah.
bad for her.
You do see in
Uh,
Mr. Brady that even the punishments, he like feels like he's got to teach the lesson, but
yeah,
well, I think we feel that way as parents a lot, where
of
that punishment,
course.
you're like, oh man, I
I
don't want to do the
know.
punishment, but
And they look so sad and it's just, ah.
yes,
So
yes.
another one, I don't know if you remember this one. This is kind of an outlier. It's called My Fair Opponent. And it's when Marcia is running for student council or something,
Always.
typical Marcia.
Yep.
But the mean people at school voted for a very shy, unattractive girl. And Marcia is furious that they've done this to this girl and they're making fun of her. And so she decides she's going to play My Fair Lady with this girl. Do you remember
Mhm.
this
And
one?
then she helps give the girl a makeover, this girl.
Yes, she
Mhm.
totally gives a makeover, and the girl then becomes unappreciative.
Yeah, she becomes a mean girl kind of, or she
She
becomes
does.
like a very full of herself after Marcia went to all the trouble to help her. Yes.
And Marcia actually writes her speech for her, and
Hmm.
that's what causes that girl to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marcia's like, she beat me with a speech I wrote,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And a
Well,
makeover
then
she
the
gave her.
girl, yeah, she rethinks things and they're because I think what was the prize to take the astronaut to the school dance or
Yes,
something?
that's right. That's right. That's right. Yes, you're right.
So I love that one. And then, we have to do My Sister's Shadow. That's the Marsha one.
Of course, everybody knows that. Even if you don't think you know the Brady Bunch, everybody's heard Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. It's all I ever hear. Yeah. Yeah.
This one, that's the one where Jan tries out for cheerleading. And poor Jan, I think Eve Plum, who plays Jan, was
Mhm.
actually a very coordinated girl, but
Mhm.
she has to pretend constantly that she's not for this role.
Oh my gosh.
Her doing the cheerleading was probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my
Oh,
life. Poor Eve
yes.
Plum. She's probably like, I could really do this, folks. Why are you doing this to me?
Yes.
But it turns out that she, of course, doesn't make cheerleading, but she writes this essay that supposedly wins, but then she finds out they did the score wrong and she's honest about it. And,
Poor
the
Jan.
mother and father are all proud of her. So,
Poor Jan. She really just can't get ahead.
and then one last, very, very
Go,
quick, very,
go,
very quick.
go.
I can't think of the name of the episode, but it's when they are the silver platters because they sing Sunshine Day first. And
I
then that crazy, what's the song they do at the end?
I'm going to elaborate on that, but I have to say those are all my honorable mentions. The ones where they sing
Yes.
Sunshine Days and that one that's like keep on, keep on, keep on,
Yeah.
been gonna keep on, keep on. Sorry,
And
I'm
they're
going
in
to
this
sing.
like blue
Yep.
and white striped
Yes.
outfits.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. And the one where they sing, they were had a song all set up to sing, but then Peter's voice changes because of puberty, and they sing that
Yes.
time to change, you've got to
Yes.
rearrange. So yes, any of the ones where they sing, I think is so fun. I
I
love
do
those are my
too.
honorable mentions too. I think those are super fun. And wasn't that a vibe in the 60s, 70s, because there were so many variety shows, Donnie and
Yeah.
Marie, Sonny and Cher, all this imagery was singing that was a thing, a theme where people did contests or let's just form a band to win the talent
Right.
show. That became a little bit of a theme on sitcoms and on TV. But I love those episodes where they sing. Love
I
it.
think too the huge popularity of the Partridge Family and David
Yeah,
Cassidy
that's true.
kind of encouraged that too, because I don't think they had any intention of having the Brady's sing until the
Right.
popularity of the Partridge Family came along.
Right. That
Um,
makes sense. That definitely makes
and
sense.
it's when you realize like that Maureen McCormick was actually a pretty good singer.
Yeah. Well, you can
Craig
hear
was
her.
okay.
You can kind of hear her and Barry Williams's voices over the
The
rest when they're
most,
singing.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And they're decent singers. And of course,
Yeah.
that being said, Barry Williams as Greg having that Johnny Bravo episode where he
Yes. That's where they sing a group song at the end where they're dressed in these, I guess they're meant to look like gunny sack kind of dresses, but like they're up
Yes.
to here. Marsha looks
Yes.
so uncomfortable in hers because it's very bulky and they're trying to dance.
Right. But that was quite a look in the 70s, right? The waist was here, a little
Yeah.
collar. It had almost like a
Little
Holly
ruffle.
Hobby kind of way
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
Yes. And they
Yeah.
were like orange and yellow or
Oh,
something
they better
crazy.
be.
Yeah.
This is 70s. Oh, I love those. I
So
love those.
those were my honorables.
Yes.
So what's your number one? I'm going to turn back to you.
Well, I want to give one more honorable, and this comes
Okay.
back
Yes.
to our dear poor Jan, that
Yes.
she has those terrible allergies, and they think she's allergic to Tiger, and all the kids are hating on her just a little because they're going to have to get rid of Tiger. And then Tiger goes out the door, and they say, grab his flea powder, grab his leash, get all the things to take him. And she realizes she's allergic to the flea powder. And we all breathed a sigh of relief at home um, in our
So
granimals.
Tiger mysteriously disappeared a few episodes later. We never
But
heard from him again.
remember, there was also that episode where Tiger is stealing. He steals Kitty Carriole and puts her in his
Yes.
doghouse. He steals, I believe, a kazoo. He
Bobby's
takes all the
kazoo.
things. And that is like Tiger really was part of the action. And of course, on that first episode where the Bradys get married, Tiger chases a cat who disappears, by the way, by the other episode
Fluffy. Yes.
and chases them through the wedding. And they realize this is
Fluffy
what our
doesn't
life is about to look like.
Fluffy
I
doesn't make it to the Brady house,
don't
right?
think
He
so. We
was
never
the
see
cat
Fluffy
when
again.
they lived with her parents or
Yeah, we
whatever.
never see Fluffy again.
Yeah, that's kind
Um,
of funny.
okay, so without further ado, number one.
Do you think we have the same one? I think we
I
must, based
think we
upon our
do.
channel
I,
title.
well, no, I
Oh,
don't think we do then. I don't
oh,
think we do. You say yours.
so mine is the subject was noses,
It's
which is what
classic.
our the episode that has our tagline in it. So
Hmm.
Marcia gets a date with the big man on campus, Doug. What's his last
Doug
name?
Simpson. Doug
Simpson.
Simpson, girl. Oh, yes.
Doug Simpson. Yes, big man on campus, as they call it.
Yes.
Which let me just say again, it's like the cheerleading thing. Never, as someone growing up in the 70s, do I remember anyone called big man on campus. I don't even know what that. No, no, no.
It's such a Mike Brady reference, right? Well, he's the big man on campus. I mean, it just means he's the most popular guy, but it's hysterical. The
I
big man on
guess. I don't
campus. I
know. I
love the
also am
reference.
always so upset by how unattractive the boys are that they bring on. Like, Doug
From a-
Simpson was nothing to write home
yeah,
about, you
yeah,
know. But anyway, and then Peter hits her in the nose with a football, and it swells up real big. And Charlie, who his father owns like a wallpaper store, I think.
yes. He's bringing by samples for Carol to
Yes,
look at.
and he has a big old crush on Marcia, and
Oh
he's a very
gosh.
sweet guy, but again, not the most attractive, I guess you would say.
He looks a
And
little like Danny Bonaducci.
very much like
Right?
Danny
He's a redhead,
Bonaducci.
but
Yes,
where Danny has the big, cool personality, the funny guy, Charlie's the shy, awkward guy.
yes,
But he looks like
yeah,
Danny Bonaducci from the Partridge Family.
yeah. He really, you're so right about that. That's exactly who he looks like.
But a sweet guy, Charlie.
Very sweet, one that really cherishes her, you know.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
as soon as Doug Simpson realizes that she's got a really weird looking nose, he
Right.
takes back his invitation for a date by saying, he said, something suddenly came up. And that's the line that she had used on Charlie to get out of their date so she could go out with Doug Simpson.
Yeah.
So,
But didn't
Greg,
Greg counsel her to say something
yes,
suddenly came up?
yes, he
So
did.
Greg led her to believe this is how guys handle their business. They don't give you
Mhm.
an explanation. They just say something suddenly came up.
Yes, yes.
That's bad Greg advice right there.
Yes, Greg was, yeah, he kind of stuck his finger in the pie, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yes,
But
yes.
she definitely got Doug Simpson back because when he then saw that her nose was all back together and she looked beautiful
Mhm.
again, he said, "Oh, Marcia, I'm free now." And she said, "Oh, sorry, something
Something
suddenly came
suddenly
up."
came. And I just have to say, it just out that the way that Maureen McCormick, who plays Marcia, uses her voice and this little accent she has,
Yes,
it makes everything so much better. So something suddenly came up. And the way
yes.
she says skewel, how
School.
skewel. I love it. And then it's just like so classic. If you know, you know, you can hear it in your head.
Yes,
Um,
yes. She has a very distinct way of talking for sure.
yes, yes, I love it. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm psyched to hear you're number one.
well, I just want to say on your number one, I love how she's going out to tell Bobby and Peter to come in for dinner, right? And that's when she gets hit in the,
Ooh,
oh, my nose. That's another classic. There's
yes,
Marcia, something suddenly came up and oh, my nose. And they just
yes.
like put a little like putty or something to make it look like the bridge of her nose really swelled up.
And
Yeah, I
what's
love
kind of
that episode.
hilarious is she wakes up one morning and all of a sudden it's completely normal.
It is.
No,
And
no little bruises, nothing.
look, we got to suspend belief, at some point. I'm sure it was perfect. She's Marcia. She has those healing powers. Um, my favorite episode, and I think a lot of people that just think they know the Bradys or know something about the Bradys probably know a piece of this, but it's actually a three-parter. It's Mike has to go to Hawaii because there's a building he's working on, and his boss says, bring the whole family. So all of the Bradys travel to Hawaii. Peter and Bobby are on the dig site with their dad, and they find this little tiki idol. There is a sound. Again, if you are a 70s kid, you are hearing this sound right now.
Yes.
Whenever the tiki idol is shown, there's this little with a little like underneath. If you know, you know. And it just tells you, oh man, something's up with this.
Yeah.
And so this idol, they proceed to Greg wears it around his neck when he's surfing and has a terrible wipeout to the point where Mr. Brady has to dive in and get him. And the whole family is waiting on the shore for Mr. Brady to drag him in. When Peter wears it, a tarantula walks up his chest.
Yes.
Oh, and my favorite line from the Brady Bunch, and you guys may quote me, Alice wears it when she's learning hula and her back goes out. And she says, apparently my who went one way and my la went the other. And I just love Ann B. Davis can deliver a corny vaudevillian level joke like no other.
Yes.
And I love everything about this episode. And it's capped off with the guest appearance from the amazing, talented Vincent Price.
Yes.
Started in Hollywood in more of a leading man kind of
Yeah.
capacity or
That
like a
was a
refined,
man back then.
yes, and ended up getting into the horror genre because he was in like Fall of the House of Usher, House on Haunted Hill, and got kind of pigeonholed into the horror genre. And a lot of you may know him, even if you're just classic lovers of music. He's the voice for Thriller. He gives
That's
that intro
right.
into Michael Jackson's song Thriller.
I
That's
forgot about
Vincent
that.
Price. And he plays a kooky professor that when the boys try to bring the tiki idol back to break the curse, he's in the cave. And that to me is just quintessential Brady. There's the gag, and you and I said it to each other yesterday, where Mr. Brady has to go and get this tarantula that was on Peter, and he wraps it in a little bag from the gift shop. And Mrs. Brady thinks that it's either, what is it, the coral pin, or and
The
the or
jade bracelet or the coral pin.
yeah,
Yeah.
that she tells Mike she really wants from the gift shop. I hope he got them. I'm not sure if he ever did, but
He
anyway,
should after he gave her the spider.
yeah, and she took the bag like, oh, is it the? She's like, it's not the jade bracelet. But there's just so much there. And also in the 70s, there were a lot of going on location,
Yes.
especially to Hawaii. The Angels went to Hawaii, Hawaii 5-0. The show was really big. It was just so fun to see them on location
Yeah,
on the
definitely.
beach. It was just such a fun episode and a three-parter. You rarely get any show that has a three-parter, much less back then, right? I mean, I think
Don't
it's so cool.
forget the quintessential Hawaiian guest star that Bobby and Cindy encounter, Mr. Don
Yes,
Ho.
Mr. Don Ho, he had his own show when we were kids. A great. a great like voice, right? He has that
Not what you would
voice.
expect. Yeah.
Yes, it's a deepish kind of it's a great voice. Like he could
I
have
would
been a
call it a
DJ.
soothing, sultry kind of voice.
Yes. I was
Yeah.
going to say baritone, but that's not what I wanted to say. It is a soothing kind of
Very
voice.
smooth and
Yes.
melting almost.
Very
Yeah.
talented. And yeah, he had his own show. I remember our mom watching the Don Ho show.
Yeah, I
I
do
feel like it
too.
was on in the mornings, right?
Maybe.
Was
I
it the
don't
morning
remember
show?
that.
Anyway, very talented guy, and he sang and played the ukulele for Bobby and Cindy. So it was a
Yes.
great episode. And I think across the board, quintessential Brady's and quintessential show of that time period on location. But that's
My
mine.
favorite part of the show is when Carol and Mr. Brady actually find them in the cave,
Yes.
and he's like, if Vincent Price realizes he's caught or whatever, and there's this big tiki statue,
Yeah.
and he's like crying, and he's like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna be all right, and Mr. Brady's like, what is that? And Bobby says, oh, that's just Oliver.
Yeah, yes. It's like he's been in the cave for so long. It's kind of like with what Wilson, the like the ball. Remember in the
Oh, and
Castaway?
Castaway.
Yes. This
Yeah,
guy
the
must have been in the
volleyball.
cave a long time because
Yeah,
yeah, he was talking
Oliver
to
is
this.
his friend.
Yes, yes. But again, that's the charm of the Brady Bunch. There are these very dramatic moments like Greg crashing on the surfboard. Miss Brady she runs out. She's like, "Mike, is he going to be okay?" I mean, there's
Yeah,
all these levels of fun and heartfelt parenting and the whole nine. And I think that's the
yes.
charm of the Brady Bunch. In a way, it was simpler times. I think we would say, "Oh, simpler times," but when you think about the issues, they're the same issues. Kids trying to
Yeah.
fit in, parents trying to parent, being fair, but also, teaching a lesson, the blended family. I think all of it really charming.
I think
And
that's kind of what TV forgets about these days.
yeah,
Like the time the Brady Bunch started, really, I think pretty much its whole run, we were in the Vietnam War
yeah, it was
at that
tumultuous
time.
times.
And
Yeah,
people wanted to seek, you're so overwhelmed by it all. They wanted to seek a refuge from that. And a very, not political, anything kind of show. I think that's why people were so drawn to it at the time, although I will say it didn't get the greatest ratings in its first run, where it really became a cult classic was in reruns.
that's true. I probably saw the majority of it in reruns,
Me
honestly, because I would have
too.
been really little when it was on. And I really, apparently, I don't remember what night of the week, but apparently it was back to back with the Partridge Family. And I'm like, can you imagine a better night of TV?
It was at one time, but I
Yeah.
think the reason I didn't watch its original run is I think it might have been against Emergency,
Oh, yes. That's
which
a
of
story
course
for
I love
another
that.
day.
Yeah,
But what a
for
great story.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the Brady's are going to come back up for us because one of the amazing things on the Brady Bunch, aside from Desi Arnaz Jr., Vincent Price, and Davy Jones, is there was Joe Namath. There were the astronaut I believe that you mentioned was a real astronaut.
Yeah, he was.
There's a lot of actual superstar cameos, but mixed in with people we know and love playing other parts. Like we had
Right.
when a conundrum they had on season one was which pediatrician would they use, the girls' pediatrician or the guys? And
Yeah.
the two pediatrician, one was Mrs. Cunningham and one was Dennis the Menace's dad off of
Yeah.
that show. So just a lot of people that are very, and like you said, Carol from the Bob Newhart show, a
Yes.
lot of classic actors. And Sam the Butcher, what an amazing, what a cute
Character actor on so
character.
many 70s shows. He was
Yes.
Saul. No, he wasn't Saul. He was a recurring character on the Dick Van Dyke show.
Yes.
One of
Yes.
his army buddies. It's
He
not
had that
Saul, but
great voice, right? Sam had a
yeah,
great affectation, I believe is the word to his way he spoke.
yeah.
Yeah, I
All
like
right,
that.
I have a surprise question for you.
Okay.
So out of the Brady children, and keeping
Mhm.
in mind their age at the time and all that kind of thing, Who do you think was the best little actor out of the six of them?
Um, okay, let me think about that for a second. Honestly, I think people might argue this, but I think Barry Williams did a pretty good job. I know with Greg, you have to play like the boastful big brother, but I think
Yeah,
you could see moments, especially in that first season, where I figure he probably got pretty typecast once you play Greg Brady. But I
yeah,
thought they were all pretty good. I mean, they all had their moments, but I feel like in that first season, you see where Barry Williams could have gone a little deeper with his acting, and then the character
yeah,
just didn't take him there. But what do
yeah.
you think?
I think it's Jan, Eve
Okay.
Plum.
Okay.
And the way she does things, I thought was just very breathy little,
Yeah.
the way she would say
Yeah.
things, like I can't even do a for instance at the moment, but I feel like she had a really cute delivery in the way
Right.
that she did her lines and really a lot of times portrayed some real emotion. Like there's an episode where she's doing her middle child problem and she gets this locket that is
Yes.
coming anonymously and she's trying
Yeah.
to figure out who it is. And in the end, it turns out it's Alice because
Yeah.
Alice is
You
also the
know.
middle child.
Yeah.
And the connection between the two of them upon finding that out, I thought was such a sweet little scene. And I thought Eve Plum, as a little girl, did that really well.
Well, when you think about it, Jan had the storylines with the most range. I mean, Marsha
Yeah.
had some chances to be a little, like mad at that girl and, her and Greg sparring a little. But I think probably aside from the very first episodes where they're navigating that territory with,
Yes.
how do I treat my new mom? How do I treat my new dad? Jan probably had the broadest range. Jan's to blame when Tiger's going to get taken. Jan's feeling
That's
middle
right.
child syndrome. Jan probably has the most opportunities, and Eve Plum did do a fabulous job for
Yeah.
sure.
And I feel like her work after the show was probably the most legit out of all of them.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, I was traumatized by, I don't know if she was in just the one after school special, or I think she might have been in two. And, just I feel like her guest starring things, I felt like her work in those were better.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
she
like like you said, she does have like you could relate when she was feeling those middle child feelings. I mean, being a middle child, but not really. It's because I
Yeah,
think the way our family was structured, there were times where I was almost felt like the oldest and then I was the youngest for a little while, and I don't know. But you definitely felt her angst. So that's good acting, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. You became the oldest child because I am a lot older than you, so I
Right.
left the home and then
Right.
became the oldest,
Right. And I was definitely the baby for a while. So yeah, yeah, for sure. But I love this show, and I'm so glad that the title of our channel is a tribute to this show because again, I think it typifies what we're doing here with our retro review. Is simpler
Yes,
times, just fun times, and also very specific kind of style to the times.
yes. And I hope everybody will go and watch the Brady Bunch again.
Definitely,
I
definitely.
hate to give the streaming services much business, but it
Yeah.
is where it is,
Yeah,
and the nice
yeah,
thing is you can go back and watch it if you want to. And I think that would be fun and start off with the episodes that we gave you
right.
if you don't want to watch the whole thing, but please in the comments, we are dying to know what your favorite episode is. If you don't want to do your top 5, at least tell us what your favorite one is.
Or give us those taglines or those moments that
Yes,
really stood out for you. And
absolutely.
also, I mean, I like to go on if you're on socials and follow those actors. I mean, they're
Yeah.
still on socials posting, and really, what a nod to some of the best, childhood memories. So I do like to support them and like when they post
I
things
do
because
too,
because
because
I really,
they've kind of come to terms with their pigeonhole as,
right.
Marsha Brady, Peter Brady, they've sort of come to terms with that, I think. And it was fun when they took that house that's at the address that they
Oh,
would
yes.
film. And actually, as hard as it was, because the inside of the house was nothing like the inside of the Brady set,
Right.
and just recreated it. It was that was really fun to watch as well.
I
And they
and
all
that
had a hand in that.
and that house is so iconic. That staircase should have been a character all its own. And that
Yes.
little stone horse of Carol's that sat at the right in those staircase
Yes.
and the built-in planter, the whole thing just so specific.
And
Uh,
very much a mid-century modern home.
yes, indicative of the time.
Total style,
Yes,
total accessories and furniture, the kitchen appliances, all that mid-century modern out the wazoo.
right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Again, subscribe, please, like, share, all those good things, and definitely tell us your top Brady memories. And Groovy Granny, it's been awesome and rad and far out and all those things.
I want to say too, to have everybody subscribe, it does not cost anything to do
That's
so.
true.
You probably do have to have a YouTube account, which also doesn't cost you anything. It would help us out greatly if you did subscribe, and then that way you'll be alerted when we do put up our episodes. Episode 2 is going to be loaded today, right?
Yep, it'll be dropping. So look for us on Sunday afternoons to drop our new episodes every time. And also in the comments, maybe throw out some things you'd like for us to reminisce about. All things 60s, 70s, 80s, pop culture, TV, movies, actors, your favorite snacks from the day, all
Yeah,
sorts of things. Yeah,
yeah. It
we'd love
doesn't
to
have
hear
to
them.
be all entertainment. It can be toys, whatever.
Yeah, all your
And
pop culture favorites. Yeah,
we're having a great time doing
we
it. So I
are.
hope everybody's enjoying it and you continue to watch.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time. Love you, Groovy
Okay,
Gran.
bye
Okay,
bye.
bye. Mwah. Bye.